how I got my... On today's episode, work smarter, not harder. It's the end of the month. I have been crashing out about work, but then I thought about it and I said, you know what? I'm the only one working. Let me work smarter, not harder. Let me figure out what is best for me. I was going to try to cram everything into one day, but I'm not going to do that. I am not going to do that. Where is the lid to this? This is getting kind of... I decided I'm going to work smarter, not harder. I figured I was stressed out about work and trying to figure out what I'm going to do, but now I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do. I made a plan in my mind in the middle of the night about how I'm going to orchestrate my my day in order to make things easier on me. I'm surprised. Oh, you surprised to see us? Yes, getting up early. We got stuff to do. We got stuff to do today. Today's the end of the month, basically for me. Then tomorrow's a holiday, and then we start this whole 2026. So, yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing. 2026, a whole bunch of changes coming. A whole bunch of... I mean, I don't know about nobody else. Changes with me is coming. That's what I know. Doing things more in a smarter way. I'm great. That's what I'm going to be doing. So many people be at work stressed. Thank you. So many people be at work stressed out about their job because they overwhelmed with the load. But you know what? When I was younger and working, one thing, especially working office jobs, one one thing that I used to do to have an advantage to get better, it was to what? You a villain? Not having all the rose bushes removed. Hey Dre, how you doing? Good morning. Yeah, so what was I saying? So when I was younger and working in the office, I used to, and when I first started working in the office, I wasn't that great at the job. I wasn't that great. And in order to get better at the job, in order to get better, I decided that I had to think of ways to get ahead. And the only way I could do that is to come in early. Even though I wasn't paid for coming in early, I came in early to get a head start on my day, to get faster, to understand the process better on my own, reading more about what to do and stuff. So coming in early helped me a lot, gave me a huge advantage, a huge advantage. I learned more about the process than some of the people there. You know what I mean? Coming in early and stuff like that, staying a little bit later, that gave me a huge advantage. And it made me also a multitask type of employee. Can you see the earring? They just regular, studs or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so coming in early. Yep, we up. Coming in early was great for me and made me a better made me better at the job. So if you are somebody who's struggling at the job, it may be to your benefit to come in early and learn the process learn the process when nobody's around in a way, because it helps you. You know what I mean? Sometimes when everybody's around and there's so much chaos going on, especially in the office and stuff like that, you don't have time to, you know, hunker down and learn your job. Uh, Thank you. Yeah. So it's better to, you know, and sometimes people gatekeep at jobs. They gatekeep information. And sometimes you gotta dig through, lots of procedures and guidelines and tutorials on your own to learn the process on your own. Sometimes people don't want you to learn the whole process, but it's up to you. It's up to you to, do that to your benefit so you can get the things that you want out of the job. So, if you're frustrated, you overwhelmed, come in a little bit early to get a head start. So, especially if you got quotas. You got quotas you got to meet or certain KPIs or whatever. Go in early so you can get a handle, so you can get faster at what you're doing. You know what I mean? So do that. So that's what today I'm going to be doing. Also working smarter, not harder. So I'm going to start my job today a little bit earlier. In about 30 minutes, I'm going to start earlier so I can do some things. Because once I get online and everybody's online, they be hitting me up the whole time and I can't do what I got to do. So, what is it you do? I work in, let's just say I do taxes for businesses. Let's say that. You like my new hat? Thank you, Squeaky. Thank you. Admiring the hat. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing, uh, today. Just working smarter, not harder. Smarter, not harder. And also, you know what? Some jobs, if you guys got office jobs, find ways at work to innovate to your advantage, to innovate, to make things better for you. Even if you have to pull IT into what you're trying to do to make your job easier. You know what I mean? You may have to talk to the IT department and say, hey, I've been doing this stuff manually, this way forever. I've been doing this process this way. Can you create me some type of macro in my dashboard, in my Excel dashboard? Can you help me develop something that I could just click and go? Even if you don't know how to do that stuff, talk to the IT department and see if they can help you develop something to make your job easier, faster for you. You know what I mean? Kind of think outside the box. Look at your process and look at the steps that it takes to get to the result. Write all that stuff down. Talk to IT, and they may be like, hey, you've been doing it this way. Do it this way. We got this, da, 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 and they help you create something. They don't pay these people for nothing. You know what I mean? Sometimes they like a challenge. They like a little challenge. Something that can move them forward, because your idea and then them being able to execute it also makes them look good too. You know what I mean? So it's a win-win situation. You get a win because you were innovative, and they get a win because they were able to execute your innovation. Everybody getting something out of it. So um, do think outside the box when it comes to your job. Find shortcuts. You know what I mean? We on this we ain't on this planet forever. Find shortcuts to make your life easier, better. There's always a tool. There's always something that you can use to speed up the process. I know sometimes some of these jobs, the process be all, like a caveman, but they still doing stuff by handwritten on paper. But just because they doing stuff like that doesn't mean your personal way of getting to the result can't be faster. You can probably find a faster way to do it. Try that. You know what I mean? Try different tools, Excel, or whatever you got to do to get to the result. However they doing it, long as you get to the same result, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. And now all these jobs are introducing AI, you know what I mean, to your job. Take advantage of that. If that's going to make your job easier, then do that. You know what I mean? AI is not great. I don't personally like it because of what it does to the environment, what it does to everybody's water supply, and what it's horrible. Whoever constructed I had the idea to just cool down servers with local water is crazy. That's the craziest thing I have ever heard of. It's like, can't you find something else? People got to get smart. Think outside the box. Sometimes you may have an idea that's even smarter than these people that built all these data centers. So, come up with things that will make things better, maybe better for the world, maybe better for your area, better for your job. Innovate, think. Come up with all kinds of ideas. Sometimes I sit down and I write all my ideas down. Good morning, President Brush. No problem, Carlos. You know what I mean? Sometimes I just sit down and I write down all the problems that I have. And then I say, how can I make that better for me? How can I make that easier for me? You know what I mean? It don't hurt to sit down, take a couple minutes, just write down all the stuff and sometimes your problems, that you're able to find a solution for can turn into money. Turn into that money. It can turn into money. So sometimes something that annoys you, can also be annoying 100 people out here. They got the same issue. Okay. They got the same issue. They've been looking for a solution. And all of a sudden, you've been doing this crazy hack, this crazy thing, and everybody else is like, man, I wish I had a solution. I could think a way to resolve it. But you've already done it because you've been doing a little hack, to get through whatever it is. So, you know what I mean? Innovate. Innovate all day with everything. Make life better for you. Make life better for you. You know what I mean? You deserve to be at ease, and not stressed out. And the only way to not be as stressed is to constantly think of ways to make life better. Constantly. And don't let nobody else tell you your idea is stupid. Well, that's not going to work. That sounds dumb. Block and delete the dream killers out of your area and go on about your business. Sometimes you gotta keep what you want to do to yourself, even at your job. Sometimes your ideas are so out there, but they make sense to you. Keep that in house and work on it by yourself. Sometimes you don't need to tell everybody what you're doing. You don't need to tell all your coworkers, whoever, what you're trying to do. And sometimes people just don't see the vision. They don't see it, until you making that money. And then they see it and they say, oh, I didn't know you was going to make that kind of, okay, now shut up, get out of my way. You know what I mean? So don't let these people be dream killers. How you doing, Cornelius? How you doing? You know what I mean? So today, and I think going forward into 2026, just concentrate on innovating everything. Every aspect of your life. Just create shortcuts. You know what I mean? If you tired of cooking in the kitchen all day, create shortcuts so you ain't got to do all that. Buy a crock pot. Sometimes buying one appliance can resolve so many issues. You know what I mean? Buy your crock pot, throw all this food in there, and walk away. Walk away and let the crock pot be your chef. That kind of stuff. Do that. If you stressed out about your clothes being wrinkled all the time, you tired of your clothes being wrinkled, drop your clothes off at the dry cleaners. I know that's an old term. That's an old way of thank you, Carlos. That's an old way of doing things, but you know what? It's effective. Drop your clothes out. Let somebody else steam, press, and iron. And that's their job. That's what they love to do. Let them go do that, and you go do something else. So part of innovation is also delegating responsibility, delegating things to make life easier, so you can concentrate on bigger ideas. You can't. Sometimes you can't think about stuff because you're so busy with other little basic tasks that's taking all your brain energy, taking all your brain power. Delegate some of that stuff so you can think bigger about all kinds of things. You know what I mean? But I think in 2026, find a hack, find something to make life easier, make work better. You know what I mean? Are you a Buddhist? No. Not yet. Yeah, make life easier, make it better. You know what I mean? You could do so many shortcuts in life. So many shortcuts you can do. You don't have to. One thing that people clown women on, especially me on here, they say, "Oh, you got that wig on, da da da." But that's a hack. That's a shortcut. I could be sitting in a hair salon for hours waiting on old girl to shampoo and wash my hair while she's sitting there gossiping on the phone with a boyfriend, and then she's trying to listen to the gossip of the woman in the other chair and trying to wash somebody else's head. I could be sitting in the salon for 8 hours, but I don't choose to do that. You know what I mean? I don't choose to do that. I got other things to think about. I got my ideas are so big. Have you read the Buddha Sutra? Kuma? No, I ain't read that. I ain't read that. You a lay Buddhist? I ain't never heard of that either. So, people talk about hair, women wearing hair. That's a life hack. You know what I mean? Because you don't have to get up and sit in the salon for 8 hours. You could just put something on your head. It's a style that you like, and that's it. Okay? Hi Sharice, how you doing? And you just walk, you just go on about your day. You got other things to think about. The nails. The nails, you know. I could sit in a salon and get my nails done for 2.5 hours. I could sit in the salon, or I could spend 30 minutes doing my own nails at home. And that's what I choose to do. Life hack. Life hack. You know what I mean? I could do that. You know, make life easier for you in 2026. Make life easier. You know what I mean? Stop trying to plan these grandioso meals, every night and all that kind of stuff. Go get you a rotisserie chicken from Costco or Sam's Club or something, and cut it up, make some quesadillas, cut it up, make some chicken soup, cut it up, and do whatever you need to do. Make you a chicken burrito. I don't know. You ain't got to slave over a raw piece of chicken and waiting for it to cook and all that. No, don't do all that. Just make life easier. These people specialize in rotisserie chicken. Go on over there and get you 2 or 3 rotisserie chicken. Put one in the freezer. You know what I mean? Cut them up, make salad. You can do so many things with a rotisserie chicken. You know what I mean? So do that. Do that. Do those things. There's so many life things that you can make. So many things you can make easier by making better choices and make your life less stressful. If you're a person who is used to paying, say you need transportation, but you've been paying this car payment forever. You tired of paying this car payment $1,000. You shouldn't have brought the car, but you brought it anyway because it was the color you like, and you want to keep up with everybody else. But sometimes you don't need to keep up with everybody else and what they buying and all this, because you don't know how they got the money to buy that car or whatever it is. So do things that's best for you. If you want to drive an older car, go to an auction, get you a car for $2,000 and keep it pushing. Buy you a car. Buy Carlos. Buy you a car on Facebook Marketplace. You know what I mean? Or if you tired of your car, sell your car on there. Sell your car on there, and then take that money and go buy another car from somewhere else. You know what I mean? That's cheaper. Do things. Use your use your brain power to make things so much better for you. For you. Don't listen to other people. Oh, I can't believe you're gonna sell your car. But if you're tired of making the car payment and it's stressing you out, then sell the car if it's stressing you out. If you tired of your bills, if your bills have been beating you down and you ready to almost jump off a bridge, go and get rid of those bills. Those people around the world, well, not around America, I know for sure, file bankruptcy and stuff all the time. You tired of dealing with all the stuff? You tired of being stressed out? Wipe the slate clean. Wipe it clean. Okay? I have done it before in my lifetime, and ain't no relief. Ain't no relief like getting rid of debt. Ain't no relief. So, if you are one of those people that's overwhelmed, that's tired, that's stressed out, sit down with yourself and ask yourself, what is it that'll make my day better, my week better, the rest of the month better? What can I do? What kind of hack can I use to alleviate the mental stress and pain of what I'm going through? Sometimes it's, downsizing your living quarters so that you ain't got to take care of much. Sometimes you people buy places or apartments or houses that's oversized, and before you know it, You got all this stuff to clean and take care of, and sometimes you get to a point you don't want to do all that. You know what I mean? You don't want to clean a 5 bedroom, 4 bedroom house. You know what I mean? Sitting in your room for days. You know what I mean? Sometimes you don't want to do all that. You don't want to take care of all that kind of stuff. And so, your life hack would be just downsizing so you can, you know, not have so much to take care of. You know what I mean? That's what life should be about. It should be about experiencing something, and then taking some lessons from that and say, you know what, I don't need that big fancy car. I don't need that big fancy house. I don't need, all these clothes and getting rid of the clothes and stuff like that. Hey, Hallie Spell, how you doing? Sometimes you don't need all that. So, you have to take some of these experiences that you have had and say to yourself, I want my life to be a little bit lighter, a little bit more freer. I want to have more free time. I want to have, less stress, and figure out what is best for you. What is best for you and your situation. Now it takes sleeping pill to go to sleep. Now see that I don't know about that one. But make life hey, woo, how you doing? Make life easier on yourself. Don't stress yourself out. Go into 2026 being the manager of your life. Being the manager. Sometimes people, when they go to work every day, they are disgusted by their manager. They hate their manager. They hate the way they do things. Like, man, if I had that job, I would do this, I would do that. You know what you need to start with? Life. Manage life. Manage your life. And I promise you, if you manage your life the right way, you won't even be working for that boss no more. You be doing something else. You know what I mean? So manage life first. Manage your own life first. Make better decisions. Do things that benefit you. Move in a way that you're not overwhelmed by anything or anybody. Somebody's in your life bothering you. Stop talking to them, stop dealing with them so you can be stress free. You know what I mean? 2026 is about breaking free from the craziness. You know what I mean? The circus. Break free. You don't have to buy $300 worth of groceries. I know people look at their family and they look at the bill and they say, well, I guess I'm spending another $400 at the grocery store. You don't have to spend $400 if you think a little bit smarter and plan better. You don't have to spend $400. Some things you just don't need anymore. You know what I mean? You don't need 10 bags of Doritos and ho-ho cakes and little Tommy. He wants Dino Nuggets and all this. And